Okay, καλώς ήρθατε στην Αθήνα. A very warm welcome to all of you colleagues from Canada, and great thanks to the ambassador for having the initiative to hold this very useful and potentially fruitful networking forum. Indeed, internationalization is an idea we all work for, a necessity these days in all our schools. And certainly the institution that I represent here, college here in Athens, has been serving this purpose for almost half a century, more than half a century. It was established in the early 60s in the wake of the European initiative in those days to have schools of this kind in various cities of Europe that made up the so-called Grand Tour in those days. This has taken a different form today. Now CYA, as we call it, is no longer college year in Athens. In the old days, students would get on a boat and travel for 11 days from the United States or Canada to get to Greece, and then once they were here, they were captives. They had to stay for the whole year. These days, everybody's so ready to move on. They're only here for a semester. So CYA, as we call it, is offering study abroad, university-level programs to students from North America, primarily, English-speaking students, who now come, as I said, for one semester, but they could come for a year as well, but very few do. We also have courses in the summer. All right. We do study abroad exclusively without doing anything else. We are not, we don't serve Greek students. We're dedicated to students from abroad. We are the oldest, the largest institution of this kind in Greece. Established in the US as a not-for-profit organization, it has been working as such for 50 years, based in Boston, with business here. There have been about 7,000 alumni over the years, some of them from Canadian universities. In fact, I counted today that we have had students from 19 Canadian institutions throughout these years. Originally focused on the classics, that's how we became known, but now we have, I think, moved on to include other areas, such as the social sciences, with an emphasis on the Eastern Mediterranean. We use Athens as a classroom, the city as a classroom. Much of the instruction goes on in museums, in archaeological sites, in other points of interest in Athens. Of course, some courses you can study ancient Greek or Latin in the streets, but some courses take place in our classrooms. We are located right in the center of town, next to the historic landmark, the Athens Marble Stadium, the site of the first modern Olympics. And our students live in apartments that we provide to them. We lease them, we furnish them, equip them, maintain them for them. And they're supposed to behave like Athenians and learn how life in the metropolitan area is. And we make sure that they understand that this is not a dormitory, but it's an exercise in learning how to live like metropolitan citizens. The areas of study are basically three: ancient Greek studies, Byzantine and modern Greek studies, European and East Mediterranean Studies, all courses in English. Credit is offered by the home institution on the basis of the transcript that we issue. The disciplines that we cover are art and archaeology, environmental studies, ethnography, history, languages, Latin, ancient Greek, modern Greek, literature, both ancient and modern Greek, philosophy, political science, international relations, and religion. Integral part of what we do is a study travel program. We take our students all over Greece as scholars with pencil and pen. They have to sustain sometimes grueling instruction under all kinds of weather. Whatever the weather, instruction goes on, and it's done by our faculty and some other experts that we engage for these purposes. There are other, we take them to, by the way, to Crete, to the Peloponnese, all the various sites of the Argolid, all the way down to Pylos, around Olympia and Delphi, and then they go to northern Greece as well in the second semester. Now, I come to what I think might interest you more, and this is our activity in customized programs. We have been experiencing an upsurge of this activity as we have been seeing also lower numbers coming to us, the economic crisis in Greece, and I suppose the image of Greece abroad in the last few years. We have been experiencing an interest in customized programs, faculty-led programs from universities and institutions in North America. These can be short-term, could be 10 days, it could be a month, could be 2 months long, depending on what the universities want that send us their students. As I said, some of them are faculty-led, some are independent. They come as a group, and they basically come under our auspices, or they become integrated into our regular CYE program that I spoke to you about a minute. What do we offer in this way? Well, we have a small department dedicated to doing just that. My colleague, the lady in red here, Vaso Machakuka, is the head of this team, and she receives the requirements of the schools that are interested in coming to us, and according to the requirements, the prospective partners, let's say, get from her a package of educational services which may include, according to their needs, either instruction or classroom space, or housing, or field trip coordination, or meals, or all of the above. She writes a proposal, and there's a negotiation, and eventually there's an agreement. And we have had very many agreements recently with many schools. Just to name a few, this last year we've had one with Smith College, we had two with the University of California in San Diego, two different groups, that is. One with Princeton University, William and Mary College, Cole College, St. Olaf College, and a number of others. There's a bunch of experienced staff, and they're all happily looking at the camera here in this slide, and they are there to serve the students' needs once they're here. We have facilities, both in terms of academic facilities and housing. The housing is, as I said, furnished apartments, air-conditioned and Wi-Fi equipped, right around our academic center. Classrooms are equipped with the audiovisual equipment, of course. There's a library, small library, but very specialized. Reading rooms, computer labs, laundry facilities. Laundry facilities, you know, for students from abroad are very important. There's cafeteria for midday meal, and so on. We do make sure that we give assistance. That's a very important item, because when you host programs from abroad, you have to make sure that the students here get what they're used to. You cannot just bring a student here and hope that she will fend for herself, himself, in all circumstances. There are health problems, there are safety problems, there are orientation problems, there are psychological problems sometimes. They have to be dealt with. And in that respect, we make every effort to be there by their side and be of assistance in this area. I must say that all these years have given us accumulated experience in how to deal with safety issues in Greece. And when I say safety issues, you know, there are demonstrations, as you know, there are strikes and so forth. We instruct them how to navigate around those and how to play safe, but also learn from what they see. And we do make a point of making sure that they all understand that this is history in the making here in Greece, and they should learn something from this experience here. Finally, we do offer various optional cultural activities. There's service learning for those who want it. There are internships, as much as we can do that without violating the law. We have a set of workshops, some in such things as marble carving or conservation, or the new one is on a logbook, handmade logbooks that they make themselves, and then a workshop on how to keep a logbook, a very important thing for a student who is on a study abroad tour. And of course, there are a number of other things that can join in: dance, Greek dance lessons, cooking lessons, and so forth, particularly popular with those students of Greek descent, who, by the way, are not that many. And I'm talking about a regular program now. We have about 10% students of Greek descent among our student body, which in the good days used to be about 450 altogether around the year. Anyway, this more or less concludes. Let me just say that if you need more information, info@cyathens.org is where you can reach us, and I'm certainly here and available to talk to any one of you who is interested after this interesting gathering. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador.